Australia. Let's get right into it as we begin with this special coverage. Now, history weighs heavily against India, but in Dubai today, in the Champions Trophy semi-final, the men in blue would rely on their spin quartet. Their familiarity with the conditions in Dubai should also help India to break the knockout jinx against Australia. Even without their star performers, Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood and Michelle Stark, Australia remains a resilient beast, what they have often been in global tournaments. Now, the Aussies had slammed 352 against England at Lahore in the run-up to the semi-final, and their batting might in fact test the Indian attack on the Dubai pitch, which has not been favourable to the batters. Now, the last time India triumphed against Australia in the knockout stage of an ICC event was way back in the year 2011 World Cup quarter-final. India lost to Australia in the semi-finals of the 2015 ODI World Cup and in the title clash of the 2023 ODI World Cup before succumbing to them in the World Test Championship final in 2023. Now, while we get into the very depths of this story, let me quickly introduce the panel that is joining me in this very bulletin today. Ashish Shukla, senior sports journalist, Chandir Shekhar Luthra, senior sports journalist, and Sanjeev K. Samyal, sports journalist from Hindustan Times. I welcome you all, gentlemen, to the very broadcast, the special broadcast that we're doing on the very ICC Champions Trophy today. And well, just to begin and continue with the very particular match that we are speaking of today, the Indian side will in fact realistically hope to rewrite that largely melancholic script over the last 14 years, and the primary reason for that optimism is the presence of some top-of-the-line spinners in their ranks. Their pre-tournament decision to fill the squad with 5 spinners is proving to be a masterstroke on Dubai's slow turf. Now, Varun Chakravarti, who derailed New Zealand with a 5-wicket burst, will not be an easy riddle for the Australian side to solve. Now, the Indian spin quartet of Chakravarti, Kuldeep Yadav, Ravindra Jadeja and Akshar Patel had walked away with 9 New Zealand wickets. On the other hand, Australia only had one genuine spinner in Adam Zampa, while hoping for part-timers Glenn Maxwell and Travis Head to deliver the goods. Matthew Short has been ruled out of the tournament with a calf injury, and it has also robbed the already creaking Australian bowling unit of a handy spin option. Absence of a premier name was also felt in the previous matches, as the Aussie bowlers conceded 352 and 273 against England and Afghanistan respectively. However, the conditions in Dubai will help the bowlers much more than the flat pitches of Pakistan. Likes of Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Shreyas Iyer and Shubman Gill will be eager to go full throttle at the depleted Aussie attack. It is also a chance for Rohit and his company to mitigate the still lingering pain of losing to Australia in the 2023 World Cup final in Ahmedabad. This match could be slow burner, but brace for a cracker nonetheless. Well, in fact, with that, let's get into the discussion right away. In fact, I'll begin with Ashish at this given point. Ashish, you know, we're speaking of Australia, which has already had a very strong record against India in the high-pressure ICC knockout matches, as we were just recalling. How do you think India can turn this trend around in Dubai today?
See, for the moment, everyone is seeing India's win in the semi-final as a foregone conclusion. And that has largely to do with 4 spinners. The very fact that we are opting, or we would be opting for 4 spinners, is a testimony to the kind of pitch which is being put on display. And it means that batsmen would have an awful time in trying to come to terms with them and score heavily. But if there is any batting lineup, or if there are any batsmen other than Travis Head or Glenn Maxwell who could come out swinging and make a telling effect, it is these Australians who could do it. So India's best bet is its 4 spinners, including Varun Chakravarti, who would be impossible to be dropped, and a pitch which is certainly to their liking, which is certainly up to their street. And from here on, it's only mercurial Australians who could do it. But as I said at the beginning, it's almost a foregone conclusion that India is seen as a favorite. But that was the case in 1983 World Cup also. Nobody gave India any chance to win against West Indies. We won and history changed. So let's see, keep our fingers crossed.
Absolutely. Shekhar, coming to you next, do you think India will be sticking with their current playing 11, or would you say there are potential changes, required changes that they might make to counter Australia's strengths today?
Well, you call it, master stroke, but I'll say it's a catch-22 situation. If Varun Chakravarti was so good or you were so dependent on him, then obviously you would have played him against Pakistan, which is again, always been your enemy number one. So in a way, of course, by playing Varun in the last game, he has picked up 5 wickets. Now it's a catch-22 situation for you. If you don't play that extra all-rounder kind of, Harshit or even any other, then obviously you are playing on a Turner, which is quite obvious. But again, you have to understand you are one batsman short. Your middle order has only played, in last game that they have just set up kind of 249 kind of score. But overall, your batters have been tested time and again on the same pitches. You have to understand this Australian side has chased down that 352 kind of score. So you have to be very careful. If you don't play Varun, then obviously you'll be criticized. But if you play him and drop somebody else, then obviously that is the only thing I could say, because there are two similar kind of spinners, Jaddu and Akshar Patel. So if you have to drop somebody, it has to be between them. But overall, I don't think this is the time to play against four spinners. If anything goes wrong, your batting will be under tremendous pressure. And again, Rohit is losing that how many 12 or 13 tosses on a trot. So if we don't win a toss today, then obviously it will be a testing time for your batting again.
Yes, I'll definitely come down to the entire toss and how that will be playing a very crucial role in the match today. But Sanjeev, taking up from the point that's been made by Shekhar at this point, it's a catch-22 and he says that India shouldn't be trying out a new formula at this given point. What do you think is the key factor that will decide the outcome of the semi-final match between India-Australia, according to you?
See, basically for me, the biggest learning of the 2000, the last World Cup final we lost to Australia was like the Australian team doesn't give you second chances. So the batsman who's set, he has to kind of play a very long innings and finish that game. That is the mistake which Rohit Sharma made in the last World Cup. More than Travis said, I felt the Rohit Sharma's wicket cost us that final because he was well set. He was like batting 40 plus, totally dominating the bowling. Last over of the power play, and he had already got the runs in that power play. Still tried to play another big shot, trying to capitalize in the power play. But that had worked for him through the World Cup. But against Australia, he should have changed his tactics. He should have just look to play a long innings, because what we saw was the other batsmen coming in, they could not settle down. They could not play as freely as Rohit was playing. So if Rohit would have finished that game, that is what Australia does. It doesn't give you second chances. The pressure they are able to put. So whoever is playing that day, he has to finish that game. So that is the most crucial thing against Australia. That's what we have seen. Really, it happens that 2011 we won. That Yuvraj Singh came in, Raina came in and finished it. But then there was somebody like Sachin Tendulkar who was guiding that batting lineup. So how to react, what to do in that situation. So the crucial factor against Australia is whoever is well set that day, he has to finish that game. He has to play a long innings.
Right, absolutely. In fact, now that we're on the topic of Rohit Sharma, let's take our viewers through some of the important quotes or remarks that have been made by him in the recent times right ahead of this match. Does India have an advantage given that they have been based in Dubai and have played 3 games at the same ground, while others have to travel in from Pakistan? On the very eve of the match, Rohit Sharma insisted that Dubai is not their home venue and the pitches here have thrown up different challenges to his side. He said, and I quote, "Every time the pitch is giving you different challenges. The 3 matches that we played here, the pitch has behaved differently. This is not our home. This is Dubai. We don't play so many matches here and this is new for us too. There are 4 or 5 surfaces that are being used here. See, I don't know which pitch is going to be played in the semifinals, but whatever happens, we will have to adapt and see what exactly is happening and what is not. And we will play on that." He has also added that when the Kiwi bowlers were bowling, it was swinging, which they had not seen before in the first 2 games. He said, and I quote again, We saw that when the New Zealand bowlers were bowling, it was swinging a little bit. We did not see it in the first two games when our bowlers were bowling. In the last game, however, we did not get to see that much spin. Today, there was a bit of it. So there are different things, different factors happening on every surface. So it is not like we know what is going to happen on this pitch and what is not going to happen. Now, with that, let's get right into the conversation yet again. Ashish, I'll come back to you at this point. You know, there is a conversation around whether India is at an advantage today, given that they have been playing in Dubai the last couple of matches, and this will be a new territory for Australia, a completely new territory at that.
Yeah, it's a funny remark from Rohit that he doesn't, that he feels it was swinging in Dubai. I mean, that imagine ball swinging in Dubai. It did swing, but it wasn't to an extent where Rohit had to make this remark. And even if there are 4 or 5 pitches in the square, we all know it's a very, very slow turning pitches. So it is an advantage with India, and that's the reason they are playing 4 spinners, as I said. And not to forget, there is one important point, and I'm very pleased with what Shekhar and Sanjeev kind of rounded up our view on the match today. And it is that teams which are batting first, they record, the stats show they seem to do better against spin than those who chase it down later. There is no due factor as such. So toss would be important, as Sanjeev, I think, said, and or maybe Shekhar said. But I believe batting first would be a better option. But this pitch would hold no terror to Indians. I mean, come on, Rohit, don't make a mountain out of a mouse. It's a pitch which favors you. And that little swing and that little 4 or 5 pitches which he mentions is of no concern, as that India kind of rules this pitch in Dubai.
Right. So, Shekhar, taking on that point, you know, we were earlier as well, we were discussing about the toss and how important the toss will be. I have 2 questions here. Firstly, if we are to win the toss today, if India is to win the toss today, as Ashish is also mentioning, they should in fact be going forward to bat first. That's what we understand. But even if we are going forward to bat first, what would you say is a good score? What should they aim for the match against Australia today?
And in Pakistan, we are seeing that about 300 scores, even those are chaseable. But in Dubai, we have not seen, you know, even crossing 270, 280. That would be a difficult thing for any team. But the point is, what we are saying is that if you lose toss, then you lose that advantage, because whether India chase or whether India play first, point is that you can't do it with your own choice. You know, we have seen in the last game against Pakistan, we chased down. In the last game, they were much their spinners were dominating, their pacers were doing so well. You know, we were finding it difficult to, you know, score that, you know, after if Virat is not clicking, if Rohit is not clicking. I completely agree with Sanjeev, because Rohit is a big factor in this particular team, because if he stays for 10-15 overs, he can finish off the game, whether we are chasing or whether we are playing first. Rohit is a big factor, and after that, once Rohit gets out cheaply, then obviously we have seen that the rest all are trying to, you know, struggle and also trying to chase that whatever score line is in your mind. And again, we have seen Rohit and Virat both are struggling. They have also scored here. The point is, our batting is, I always believe right now throughout this tournament, that we are one batsman short and we are playing too many all-rounders. But again, they are probably not well equipped to score that particular total. Sorry.
Sanjeev, what do you think at this given point, if India does win the toss and chooses to bat first, or even if they are given to bat first, if the Australian side ends up winning the toss, what should be a good score for the day that they should be aiming for?
See, basically, I feel that they should be approaching this game sensibly more than kind of playing how teams have been playing recently, like going all out attacking. So basically, they should keep in mind that it's not an easy pitch to bat on. The ball won't come onto the bat. So like what we saw in the last match, a total 260, 270 could also be educate on this pitch, because like if you try to play too many shots, you may end up losing too many wickets. So that balance has to be there. So maybe they should consolidate and look to play all their shots at the last 10 overs. So that would be a better strategy. Like first having a safe total and then looking at attacking towards the end and then seeing whatever best they can get. Because as Shekhar mentioned, 300 totals we have not seen in Dubai. And New Zealand had an informed team and they also struggled. And they had a decent start. Despite that, they struggled. So it is not going to be easy for the batsmen on the Dubai pitch.
Right. We'll continue with the conversation, gentlemen. Let me just quickly play out a response on this very match. Former Indian wicketkeeper turned cricket analyst Deep Dasgupta says India has emerged as a formidable side in the ongoing Champions Trophy. However, they cannot take Australia lightly since the Kangaroos know the art of excelling in the big ICC events. Let's listen into what he had to say.
देखिए अच्छे चांसेस हैं, इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है. सब अच्छे फॉर्म में, अच्छे लय में हैं, चाहे वो बॉलर बैटिंग सब कंट्रीब्यूट भी कर रहे हैं. देखिए असली चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी तो अब शुरू हुआ. हाँ, पहले दो मैच को आप हटा दें. अगर असली चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी तो वो न्यूजीलैंड मैच से शुरू हुआ. सो अगर आप देखें इसके बाद जो भी टीम्स होंगी, वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बेस्ट राइट नाउ. तो चैंपियंस टीम है और इंडिया इज वन ऑफ देम. तो बिल्कुल और जिस लैम फॉर्म में है बिल्कुल हो सकता है, बट वोंट बी इजी फॉर श्योर.
अगर देखा जाए इंडिया अगर फाइनल में पहुंची तो किसको देख रहे कि आप फाइनल में जाने का ज्यादा?
देखिए अगर आपको चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी जीतना है तो इट डजंट मैटर फ्रॉम एन इंडियन पर्सपेक्टिव. चाहे वो ऑस्ट्रेलिया हो, चाहे साउथ अफ्रीका हो, क्या पता न्यूजीलैंड दोबारा मिले, जो भी हो इट डजंट मैटर. इफ यू हैव टू बी द बेस्ट, यू हैव टू बीट द बेस्ट. तो वो फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट ऑब्वियसली अगर कोई टीम जिसके ऊपर मेरी नजरें होंगी, द अदर एंड वुड बी टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट ऑस्ट्रेलिया. ऑस्ट्रेलिया एक ऐसी टीम है जिनको पता है कि आईसीसी कैसे खेला जाता है, आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स और आईसीसी के नॉकआउट टूर्नामेंट्स कैसे खेला जाता है, क्योंकि वो थोड़ा सा अलग लेवल का होता है. इट्स नॉट अबाउट स्किल, वहां पे फिर टेम्परामेंट, माइंडसेट वगैरह आ जाता है. और वो मेरे ख्याल से जितना बेहतर ऑस्ट्रेलिया को पता है, जो पेडिग्री है, शायद दूसरों को उतना नहीं.
Well, getting back to the discussion, Ashish, before we get into player specifics for the game, Ashish, I want to take this question and put an interesting spin on the previous question I posed to both Shekhar and Sanjeev, which is we're talking about what exactly should be the aim in terms of India if they get to bat first, but also what can be realistically scored by the men in blue. Both these particular, scores, what would you have to say?
See, as far as I remember, there hasn't been a 250 plus score in Dubai. And the margin of victory, if you think there would be a margin of 100 runs, it's very unlikely. It would be always a close margin. The wickets which are testing, which kind of make it difficult to score runs, are always a very narrow affair in terms of difference of runs. So I expect India would hold on to their wickets for a final surge in the last 15 overs. And this pitch, all said and done, even though it affords spin, if you play sensibly, you won't lose your wickets here. At the most, if you target 4-5 runs per over, you can hold on to your wickets. It is not this juicy a pitch where batsmen would find it difficult to stay onto the pitch. You can very easily stay. It's a slow turner. You could always adjust and could always retain your wickets. And I think that would be the strategy. India won't go tonking from the ball one. Rohit would do. But I suspect India's target, the chances and its approach would be that it would hold on to a clutch of wickets for a final burst in the last 15 overs. India, despite having a batsman less, as Shekhar said, Akshar Patel and Ravindra Jadeja could be expected to provide between them one batting slot. So I think India would not compromise with its spinners and Shami. And like Hardik Pandya also came good in the last game. So our middle order has performed all right. We were 30 for 3. We could stretch it to 249. It would be a close scoring match. It won't be a huge margin. There would be moments when you would have palpitations whether India is winning or losing. It would be that kind of a match. But India would hold on to their wickets for the final surge.
Right. Now, before we continue, let me quickly play out yet another response from Deep Dasgupta himself. India went into the match against New Zealand with only one pace option in Mohammad Shami, who has served the team well in the league phase in the absence of Jasprit Bumrah. Now, Deep Dasgupta has to say, a bowler of Bumrah's caliber will always remain irreplaceable, but India has a strong bowling attack to deal with any opposition. Let's listen in.
बुमराह की कमी, बुमराह इज द बेस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड और वो मैच विनर है। तो अगर मैच विनर आपके टीम में ना हो, उनकी कमी तो खलेगी, चाहे बाकी जितने मर्जी अच्छे कर लें और कोई भी आ जाए, यू विल ऑलवेज मिस बुमराह। उसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है कि बुमराह को मिस कर रही है इंडियन टीम, और जब तक वो नहीं रहेंगे इन टीम में तब तक मिस करेगी वो। चाहे अगर इंडिया चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी जीत भी जाए तब भी मैं वही कहूंगा। लेकिन शामी की आप ये कह सकते हैं कि शामी भी अपने आप में एक मैच विनर है और अच्छे, वो भी अच्छे ले में दिख रहे हैं। और उठा के देख लें तो उनके रिकॉर्ड्स किसी से कम नहीं है। अगर ओडीआई में अभी 200 विकेट उन्होंने पूरे किए, अगर उनके आप ओडीआई रिकॉर्ड्स उठा के देख लें, दैट्स एब्सोल्युटली ब्रिलियंट। उस लेवल पे नहीं है वो दो टीम्स, लेकिन अब जिनके साथ खेल रहे हैं वो उस लेवल पे हैं और उम्मीद करेंगे कि हम उसी तरीके से परफॉर्म करते रहेंगे।
Well, with that, we're completely running out of time at this point. So I would want a quick closing remark in terms of players that we are looking out for within the men in blue to counter both in terms of Australia's batting lineup. We have players like Travis Head, and for the spinning challenge that Australia also poses, like Adam Zampa at this given point. Who are we looking out for within the Indian team to counter these challenges from the Aussies? Shekhar, I would want to start with you.
Well, you have to understand that the last game, I throughout the match, I felt that India was, obviously they were trying to be number one, but again they became number one because New Zealand never wanted to play in Dubai, or they never wanted to play against Australia. So they are quite happy playing on Pakistan pitches, which are much better in terms of scoring runs or taking wickets or experimenting. But Dubai is one-dimensional pitch, and Indian batters, Indian bowlers, they all struggled, again in different aspects of the game. Everybody said we have to score heavily in terms of that we have to come close to 300, whatever, 272, 300, anything, and then defend that. Whether to defend that with 4 spinners or again with 3 spinners and 3 pacers, that is a choice that they have to make. But again, for me, it's a very, very catchy situation for India, catch-22 situation, whether to drop Varun or whether to play again the 4 spinners.
Whether to drop Varun or to continue with him in this very match, that seems to be a big decision that you've been focusing upon. Well, with that, Sanjeev, your closing remarks.
Yeah, basically, like when we talk about Adam Zampa's threat on that wicket, I feel somebody like Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul who have a good game against him, they will be important. Like what we saw with KL Rahul was the innings he played in Chennai in the first match of the World Cup against Adam Zampa when everybody else was struggling. So those kind of players who play spin well, they could be a big factor. And in bowling, with somebody like Glenn Maxwell who can play both reverse sweep and sweep, so I feel somebody like Kuldeep Yadav will be a big factor. Yeah, he will be important.
Right. Ashish, coming back to you, your closing remarks in terms of players that we are looking out for.
Unchanged team, Varun Chakravarti-led spinning attack, and a consolidation in the middle order. And Shreyas Iyer has been brilliant. He probably is the best spin player, and KL Rahul is very close by. So I think India has packed with very good spin playing players in the middle, including Akshar Patel, and that would have a say in the match, on the match.
Shreyas
Iyer can't be our number 1 wicketkeeper, Ashish.
Rahul can't be our number 1 wicketkeeper.
Fumbling too much behind the stuff.
I think we're going to, that's a crucial point you've made. Yes, Shekhar, you were saying something.
No, I said that he can't be your number 1.
But I feel
he has given chances to different batsmen and he's not looking very comfortable behind the stumps. Otherwise, as a batter, I am all for Rahul.
But I think in unison, you're all pinning your hopes on, you have high hopes from Shreyas Iyer in this very given match, as we understand. With that, Ashish Shukla, Chandra Shekhar Luthra and Sanjeev K. Samyal, thank you so much for joining us on this very special broadcast on the ICC Champions Trophy semi-finals between India versus Australia, as we all await the high-pressure ICC knockout match that is to be taking place later in the day today.
Women empowerment is all about letting the woman to remain the woman.
Perhaps you're right, because, we've seen what men have been doing all this time.
I think we are not nurturing and leveraging 50% of our strength, which are the women.
For an educated lady, even today, the problem comes when she becomes a mother.
If the world starts getting women-led, I think a lot of things will get corrected.
I 100% agree with you. Humans are different. Our needs of each other are different.
A lot of responsibilities unduly rest on women.
For too long, women have not dreamt for themselves. They've been too afraid.
When it comes to women, a very, very focused approach should be there to create an ecosystem for producing champions.
And that is where we have to set that sort of environment.
The message to women was, let the spotlight of your life be on you.
We were constantly praised for any little thing that we did well. After all, we are the product of the history. We are all dependent on each other.
The men like you speak for women, speak with women.
That is the woman that you are. That is the woman you always wanted to be.
It will only grow from strength to strength. I'm a positive thinking person.
I am defined by what I do.
I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you, Varun. Thank you for those kind words.
I am, therefore you are. That should be the message from every woman to the men.
Watch Duologue with Varun Das this Women's Day, all day long on News9. News9, English news as it should be.
We made history for a reason tonight.
Will it change the shape of American foreign policy? Violence has erupted in Manipur once again. How can we pass judgment, sir, before any inquiry that, they were volunteers or militants, sir?
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack, because News9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News9's pick of the week. Don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now, because News9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.
What is to the nines? In literal terms, it's perfection. But to us, it's not just a phrase, it's an attitude. One that starts at your desk and sends a statement to the world. To the nines is about taking charge. It's a way of life where every seam, every fold, is crafted with excellence. It's timeless elegance and uncompromising quality made for the corner office. It's the ideas that inspire redefining order and elevating the tabletop. To the nines, for the leaders of today and the visionaries of tomorrow.
It's not the fiefdom of politicians. They owe it to the people. Matter is now more about faith of the millions of devotees than just political slugfest. Does that mean that I can't get a job in Chennai, although I may be best suited for that particular job? They have more civic sense, they have more of civility than all these men. My name is Sudha Sadanand. Welcome to the South Indian.
Hello, welcome back. You're watching News 9 and I'm Sriya Kundu here to bring you all the top stories of this very hour, this particular afternoon from across the nation and around the world. Well, let's begin with some quick headlines as to what's developing where at the very top of this afternoon. Minister Dhananjay Munde resigns from Devendra Fadnavis's cabinet over aides linked to Bir Sarpanch murder. Delhi Chief Minister along with LG launches bamboo plantation drive at the Bhalswa landfill site in an effort toward biomining, land reclamation and a greener Delhi. Maharashtra police files case against SP MLA Abu Azmi over remarks on Aurangzeb. Shiv Sena stages protest outside assembly against Abu Azmi. Business Advisory Committee led by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah approves salary hike for Karnataka legislators. Relief for ex-SEBI Chief Madhabi Puri Bhuj. Bombay High Court holds FIR in the BSE fraud case. India slams UN rights chief Volker Turk's baseless